Hello friends, my name is Bruce Rhodes and I have the privilege of serving as the superintendent of the Southern Michigan Conference. In this week's Moments That Matter, I want us to reflect together on the phrase, paying attention. Way back in 1997, my wife and I traveled on our first international missions trip to the island country of the Philippines. The Philippines is in the South Pacific Ocean. It consists of over 6,000 islands that are mountainous and remote. It was a fantastic trip. Toward the end of our 2 weeks, our team took an excursion on a boat to a remote island beach for an afternoon of relaxation before we got on our plane for our long return flight to the States. It was beautiful. White sandy beaches, heavily jungled, coconut trees, everything you would see in your mind's eye about a Pacific Ocean beach. I, along with a friend, took some snorkeling gear and we decided to dive into the surf and enjoy the ocean environment with all of its large colored starfish, the tropical fish, the coral reefs. It was a remarkable time. I don't recall how long we snorkeled, but we were enthralled with the natural beauty around us and we lost track of time. Sometime into our adventure, I lifted up my head to look back at the beach, only to realize that the current of the ocean had swept us out and away from the island. We were a long ways from the beach. I knew we were immediately in trouble and frankly some deep anxiety crept over me. Well, you know the rest of the story. Obviously we made it back to the beach, but it was a difficult and dangerous trip. I remember hitting the beach and I felt like kissing the sand as I was so relieved to have gotten out of the water back into safety. The simple point of this story is that our lives had been put at risk because we just weren't paying attention. We were so distracted by the underwater world we were enjoying that we neglected to keep track of our location. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8 tells us to be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. Another way to say this is pay attention. In addition, in the letter to the church in Sardis in chapter 3, the resurrected Jesus tells the people of that congregation, wake up, or to put it another way, pay attention. What should we be paying attention to? Well, number one, we need to pay attention to our mission. Are we actually doing what we've been placed on earth to do? Second, we need to pay attention to the Spirit of God. Are we seeking and listening to the Spirit of God regularly? Third, we need to pay attention to God's Word. Are we allowing the truth of God's Word to permeate our thought life? 4, we need to pay attention to our doctrine. Are we remaining anchored to the important truths which inform our values and our behaviors? 5, we need to pay attention to our communities. Are we noticing what's taking place and seeking to be the hands and feet of Christ where we live and work and play? 6, we need to pay attention to our relationships. Are we practicing good relational hygiene? Are we investing in people, loving people, sharing with people? The simple truth is, leaders and local churches have an autopilot button whereby if they are not careful, they can just keep cruising along, burning fuel, and nobody is paying attention to the fuel gauge. A lot of really bad things take place when planes run out of fuel. The remedy Paul wrote to the Christians in Romans in chapter 12, verses 11 to 13 is this: don't burn out. Keep yourselves fueled and aflame. Be alert, servants of the Master, cheerfully expectant. Don't quit in hard times. Pray all the harder. You see, we live in a world which is doing everything it can to distract us from paying attention to those things that are core to us as the people of God. Let's pay closer attention because paying attention really matters.